welcome everyone, and thank you for attending these sessions. And today, although we scheduled 2 hours of the workshop, but I'm not sure whether we need really 2 hours. So basically, then we have these two professor, basically Professor Chen and Paulo. The Oliveira, Paulo Oliveira. I'm sorry. Then they're gonna introduce. Actually, not really introduce, but they're gonna go over the classes they're gonna teach in the 421. Then that is it. Then I will ask you to fill out the survey form, and we're gonna have question and answer sessions. Okay, I think that's my that's all I can say. Then we can, if you have any question, then let's hold it until we have this question and the sessions.
Welcome everyone, and say that I'm actually very glad to be here. I'm seeing some of my colleagues here, Professor Rio, Professor Ning Chan. They were my professors some 7, 8 years ago.
Long time ago. Time flies.
Yeah, time flies. Yes, very dear colleagues and friends, and this is a great team. This is a team that I'm familiar with, and they were my teachers. So let me go ahead and get started, because as Professor Chen said, it's a Saturday. We don't want to stay here forever, right? Let me find my application. My name is Paulo De Oliveira. I'm originally from Brazil. I've been a software engineer for pretty much my whole professional life. Currently, and for the last 8 years that I've been in California, I've been at a nonprofit organization called Mind Research Institute, where I'm the senior director of engineering there. I oversee, development of web applications and educational games that are used by about 2 million students in the United States. Before that, I worked for many years at Microsoft, and before that in Brazil, I worked for IBM, and I moved to the US to work for Microsoft, and I got tired of the corporate life, and I came to work for a nonprofit organization. And after my master's degree that you are taking right now, I actually decided I was invited to teach, and I really enjoyed. So I've taught this class a few times already. As I said, as I'm a former graduate of this program, I'm very happy I did it. It really fit well with my professional life and goals. And I'm very passionate about efficiency in software development. Software development is it's the only discipline that compares to construction when it comes to lack of predictability, right? When you hire someone to do a contractor to do work on your house, the main problem that you're probably going to have is lack of predictability. They said they were going to do the work in 2 weeks, and it's actually taking 6, and it's not done yet. Software is not very different. I love predictability and efficiency, and a lot of the things in this course, and especially in 547, measuring the software process is very related to efficiency. I'm very passionate about that, but I'm even more passionate about playing music, right? This is on a personal note. This is what I do. Yeah, I played like 6, 7 different instruments. I've played music since I was a little kid, and never became a professional musician. I don't think I'm that good, but I definitely enjoy doing that. I'm married. I have 2 teenagers, so 2 teenagers, 2 jobs, Brazilian wife. You can tell I'm a very, very busy guy, right? But it's a happy life. So enough about me. So let's talk about the textbook. So the textbook is the one that I actually used when we took the class, and I've been looking around since I was invited to teach again. And this book, the reason for this book is that there are not that many books as up to date written about measuring the software process. And this is also a book that I'm deeply familiar with, right? I took the course reading this book, and I had to read it a few more times in order to teach this class. So I can navigate this very easily, and I think I can convey the concepts better. You can easily get this book anywhere online. Amazon, a bunch of other places will carry that. And you'll get that in a couple of days if you haven't seen it yet. I will post this syllabus, by the way. I will post it in the Canvas class. I'm going to publish that probably today, and you will have access to the title, the ISBN here and everything. You might get a different ISBN if it's a newer version, but I don't think that there's any edits. There's some references here. These are not mandatory books, right? But these books and sites are gonna help you understand more about some of the concepts that we teach in the class, like elementary statistics. I noticed over the years as I'm teaching, those that are a little more familiar with basic statistics, right? What is a standard deviation, mean, medium, and so on and so forth? Those are somewhat basic concepts, but those that were already familiar with it, or that took the time to actually familiarize themselves with it, navigated this class a lot more easily. Okay, so I definitely recommend at least the elementary statistics. Could even be just a website that you go familiarize yourself with a little bit of statistics. A lot of people frown upon, CMMI. I learned to respect and see the value in understanding what CMMI does, and I'm gonna try to convey that to the students. So what is all of the work that we're going to do? We have a discussion board. It's a format that it's not very different from what was done before, but we're going to have 8 topics for discussion. I'm going to expect students to add comments, meaningful comments about your experience, or if you don't have experience, about your expectation about those 8 topics. And the topics will come aligned with the chapters that we're studying. Okay. So that alone is 20 points, right? If you write something meaningful there, you will get the credit. So don't waste that. We have a midterm exam that's worth 15 points. We have 2 group assignments, 10 points each, totaling 20 points. 1 group project that is worth 20 points, and the final exam that's worth 25. So if you add it all up, if I didn't get it wrong, it should add to 100 points. I've seen people come to me and say, "Oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about this particular deliverable," or so. You will always get plenty of notice about the deliverables. So try to log into Canvas, every day if possible, right? Some people don't log in for 3, 4, 5 days, and then sometimes they miss an assignment or miss an announcement, right? So, as I say, usually late work is not accepted. So you miss the points for that particular item. The grading is you get an A plus if you get 95 or more points out of 100, and you can just follow the curve here. And this can be adjusted, shifted a little bit lower in case the class, maybe I made the test a little so hard and so on. So, it could be that A plus becomes a 93 or 92, and so on and so forth. It's going to depend on where the class ends up in the curve there. And again, don't worry about taking snapshots or memorizing all of this, taking notes. I'm going to post both this presentation and a Word doc version, a PDF version actually of all of this information and a little bit more. Um, you know, what are the objectives for this course? We're going to learn some practical, and I emphasize the word practical approaches in measuring software engineering activities. A lot of people um, think that this is bureaucratic work. It's not going to lead anywhere. Management, it's not going to buy in, and so on. And as long as you make it practical, this really works. I've done this extensively, and I've done it much more after I learned it here. Um, Learn how to measure everything. The goal here is to measure processes, but you can apply that in the context of a project or a whole product, right? Processes are associated with projects. You're going to learn how to analyze the behavior of a process using statistical techniques. That's why I said that it's important to understand a little bit of statistics here. Learn best practices in the industry on software measurement, right? It's not going to be like, oh, this is just super very academic, because I think that at the end of the day, people want to understand how to employ what they're learning in their lives, depending on the job that you have. Then, a couple slides here on how we're going to break this. So we're going to spend the first couple of weeks talking about the basics of measurement, right? Why do we want to measure the behavior of a process, right? What kind of metrics we should be using? This is like, why do we even care about doing this? Okay, we'll talk a little bit of about CMMI after that. Then we're going to the good thing about this book, it takes you on a journey that it's exactly the path you would take if you were to say, I've never done this, I'm going to do it for the first time, right? Sorry, is there a question? No? Okay. So the next step would be planning for measurement. There's a lot of things that you need to do, right? We're going to spend 2 weeks, 2 classes talking about that. So you have to understand your objectives, your goals. There's a lot of bullet points here. And then once you have the plan ready, you're going to collect data. Another 2 weeks on understanding, like, okay, I need to collect the data. How do I really make use of this data? How do I collect it in a way that it's useful? At the end of the chapter 3, you're going to have this first group homework. Okay, first group homework, and it is a group homework. Okay, so you're going to have to work in teams, and I know it's not the easiest thing to do when everybody is online, but that's what it is. Next 1 week spending, we'll talk about basic statistics you need to know, right? We're not just going to say, hey, you didn't read the book, you're going to be behind. No, it's not that, but there's not a whole lot that you learn in one class, so a little bit of a self-study here would go a long way. Then we're going to talk about the process areas from CMMI that actually apply to the discipline of measuring the software process. Another class, another week goes in here. Then it starts, we get to chapters 4, 5, and 6, and this is the meaty part of the course, right? I know it may all sound like, oh, that's kind of boring. That was my initial reaction when I saw the syllabus for the first time as a student. But chapters 4 to 6, they're actually very interesting. That's when you get your hands dirty and you're trying, like, hey, I did everything I had to do. I planned, I measured, I collected data. Like, how do I really interpret this? How do I organize this data based on the things I want to, the questions I want to answer? This is very, very interesting. Again, at the end of chapter 4, homework 2, and the midterm exam will be given. Okay. Then just a couple more pages on just process behavior charts. again, as I said, chapters 5 and 6 together with 4, this is, the bulk, the most important part. Everyone can put a plan together if you read a recipe, and you can, fetch data, but you need to know how to analyze that data, how to make decisions, and how to move forward. Topic number 9. There's a very interesting definition between a process that you say, hey, does this process stable, but is it capable? Does it meet my organization's business needs? Right? We'll talk a little bit of that, and how you can, and when does it make sense to do process improvement, right? You don't measure just for the sake of measuring. You want to see, like, this is actually doing pretty well, I'm not going to touch this, or this is not going well, it's not stable, and it's not meeting the business needs of the organization, so we're going to have to make this better. You can always make something better, but there's obviously the law of diminishing returns, and there's a time that you need to focus on something else. um, then we're going to talk about software management in the concept of the agile development environment, which many organizations use nowadays. A lot of the first time I saw this, I thought, well, but this looks like a waterfall project kind of framework that you can use, and that's absolutely not the case. It's quite the opposite, actually. Um, so the final exam will be given in the last week of the semester, okay, in the last few days. Um, uh, as I said, you're going to have a group project. Some possible topics, right? So if you've done this kind of work before, or if you read about a really interesting case study, you can probably do a project, talk about that. You can talk about specific software quality metrics in the context of a particular organization or a set of goals. You can talk about metrics in agile projects, or you can even suggest your own topic. When we did this course, we suggested our own topic, our group, and we came up with something really interesting. The professor really enjoyed our project. We had a good time putting this together. Okay, so just summarizing here. So there's some important dates. You're going to be expected to provide an abstract of your project, right? First, you're going to choose a topic, and once you choose a topic, you're going to have to give me an abstract of your project. I want to make sure that your teams are going in the right direction. You don't spend the whole semester and then you deliver something that didn't quite meet the expectations. That's the goal of this particular bullet point here. The first group homework, it's on week 5. The midterm and the second group homework are posted on week 7. And they are due, I have to actually review this. I'm not sure that it's due so much later. I think I give you 2 weeks to that. So this might actually be a typo here. The home, of course, we're all online. So the final exam is going to be a take home, in the sense that, you're not going to have a short time limit to do, there's research involved with that. So you have a few days to actually do your exam, so you can do it at convenience of your own time. And on week 13, so before I used to do the project and the final due on the same week. And I've seen that become a problem for some teams, for some people, because they got a little overwhelmed with the fact that they were all due on the same week, right? Mostly those that didn't actually invest time in doing the project, starting the project in a timely manner, right? The more you procrastinate, the more these things are gonna collide. So please try to, if you're done early with your project, it's not only encouraged, but I'm thankful for that. I'm gonna have quite a few different projects and tests and everything to review. So if you're done, don't sit on it. Just send it over, and I'll grade it. This is an important slide. Okay. So I'll go bullet by bullet here. So it's an online course, but there are several assignments and topics where your comment is expected, right? I want to hear what you think, right? So don't stay away from Canvas, right? That's a wonderful tool, and everything that you need is there. Your material is there, even though it can be downloaded. But communication, notes, everything, assignments, everything is going to be posted there. So I've had in the past students that are like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the discussion that I was actually supposed to comment on, and but discussion had been posted like 10 days before, right? And so it means that you haven't been online for 10 days. There might not be new assignments because you have an idea when the assignments are going to be posted, but there might be new comments or important notes or any changes in the schedule. Okay, so please log in if possible, even on a daily basis. That's a very strong suggestion from me. Um, Second, start your project soon enough, right? As I said, it's too close to the final exam, and some students have struggled to balance the workload there, right? I'm not going to ask you to write a Bible, right? I'll give you guidelines along the course on, what's an acceptable size, right? It's not so much about the size, it's about the contents. But I've seen students get a little bit overwhelmed because they took too long to start on the project. You can't start the final until I post the final, but you can start the project as early as you want, as early as your topic has been approved. Okay, that's a very important tip. So there are three classes, 50, 547, 50, 51, and 52. So they have all been combined into a single class. So you go to 547, 50, right? So if you're initially placed in 51 or 52, you're now on 50. If you open there, there's probably nothing because I haven't published anything, but I will publish the first lecture in this syllabus today. Okay. Um, there, yeah, same comment. Because we have three groups combined into one, it's a very large class. So as of yesterday, we had 66 students altogether. Okay. If we make groups of 2 or 3, I'm going to spend until Easter reading the projects and doing grading your tests. And unfortunately, I don't have that much time. Uh, there's an advantage of actually having a slightly bigger group than usual, um, because you can distribute the relationship, the responsibilities. I mean, you distribute the responsibilities. Someone is responsible for researching, other person is responsible for organizing the final document, putting the ideas together, it's and so on and so forth. My request is that you form groups of 6. If you want to deviate from that, please talk to me in private. I am going to need a good enough reason for that. Okay. So another suggestion that goes with this is, you probably already have like, oh, my group has always been 3 people. Well, maybe you can join forces with another group of 3 people. But whatever you decide to do, start forming your groups pretty soon, right? In the past, some students, as I say here, have used the forum in Canvas to look for groups. Okay. Then there's just a disclaimer here. Canvas is a new tool for me. So if you see something that looks wrong or out of place, don't panic. Just contact me and I'll fix whatever seems to be wrong in there. It's not rocket science, but it's the first time I'm actually using that as an instructor. We used to have a different tool before for the classes, although it kind of functions the same way, same principles there. Okay. Without that being said, I hope that you enjoy. First, I hope that everyone is doing okay. It's been a very weird 18 months for most people. A lot of I am here. You can see my background at home. This is what I've been working from for the last 18 months. My company actually has decided that it's more economical to have their engineering professionals to work from home, and they're going to reduce the size of the office. So it's a lot of new challenges for everyone. So I hope everyone navigated the last 18 months in the best possible way. If you do have any concerns related to COVID during the course or anything, or for any other matter, contact me directly, and we'll work it out. Um, and I hope you enjoy the class. I enjoy teaching this class. I will be posting um, for most lectures. There's the slides. Then there's me talking over the slides, and then I have only the audio for those that like more of like a podcast version of the of the lecture. Not every class is going to deserve a recorded lecture, but many of them do. I'm going to reuse some that I did in the past, and I'm going to redo some that I wasn't super happy with in the past. And with that, we can move to questions. I'm going to stop sharing here, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.